Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to Fallen London. Today we are going to be carrying on with the exceptional story Flint. And in the last episode we managed to steal the napt from the dish and spoon. And we have two choices. We can either recruit some people for our expedition, or we can investigate the napt. I think I'm going to carry on looking at the napt, the stone knife. So Flint from the Elder Continent. Where, exactly? The continent is vast. 1,000 destinations are lost in the glare of its light. But we have quite a lot of options here, because I'm part of the Black Ribbon. I also know the detective. I'm part of the Dillium Club, or the Dill Mun Club. I'm also part of the university. Or I could buy drinks at the helmsman. In fact, the only one I can't do is speaking to a diplomat. Let's speak to Feducci. He's from the continent. Or so he says. He says a lot of things to a lot of people. Ugly, isn't it? But sharp. Sharp as devils. I used to duel with a gentleman from Caution, down by the bleeding forest. He used to spear with a banded flint tip. Lost an ear to him. You thought this was a real ear, didn't you? Don't go to Caution. Humorless sort of place. Not that you ever will. Londoners aren't allowed that far into the Presbyterian. Funniest thing, I was at the Brass Embassy party last week, and there was a woman talking about Caution. And Flint. Tall. Yellow dress. Good arms. The bishop is still at the House of Chimes. You may have his guidance as to what you should do next. Now we shall... Oh, could I only talk to one of them? Okay, so we found out where we needed to go. Good thing Feducci knew what he was talking about, huh? But let's recruit for the expedition before we go back to speak to the bishop. Who will we take with us? We can recruit 3 rough fellows. We have 7 pages of an expedition quota, and you need 4 for the 3 rough fellows. 3 ladies and gentlemen. You value refinement over brute force. That also requires 4 pages. Recruit 3 entertaining sorts. Whoever you take, they absolutely must not be boring. Or we can recruit 3 missionaries, penitents, and destitute souls. Perhaps you value piety or charity. Perhaps you want to avoid distracting pleasures. I'm going to have to stay on theme here, aren't I? All of these are using renown that I have built up with each of the factions. So I feel I kind of want to recruit the entertaining sorts, but I also feel that the ladies and gentlemen could be kind of entertaining. So let's go with ladies and gentlemen. Educated, refined, restless. Perhaps they know more about how to use the fish knife than a machete. But standards must be maintained, even in the distant jungles of the bright continent. We have a little comfort. Interesting. Oh, we can recruit somebody else. I should probably take some rough fellows, because we are going on a boat, right? And I feel like having people who can actually use a boat is probably a good idea. So let's get some rough fellows. Dregs outlast the drink. Dregs are difficult to eradicate. Dregs are what remains. These are all desirable qualities in assistance. They have other, less desirable qualities, but you'll take what you can to get the job done. And we have a valorous inclination. We only have 1 page left. So, now we get to pick our deputy. We can recruit the regretful soldier as our deputy. You want someone bold? We can recruit the sardonic music hall singer. You want someone cunning? Recruit the gnomic adventurer as your deputy. You want somebody who knows the Elder Continent. She rarely makes sense, but she always makes headway. Or we can recruit Silas the showman as your deputy. We've come across Silas before, haven't we? And I didn't know who he was. I guess this explains why he is in some of the older stories. You want Silas. I remember Silas is like a magician, which I kind of want Silas. I think it would be funny. I'm going to take Silas. Thank you for thinking of me, he booms. But I have so many engagements, irons in the fire, fingers in the pie. Let me see what I can do for you. Perhaps if we can negotiate rations of a sufficiently high quality. Roast chicken is essential. Sherry, if you can arrange a porter. Where are you going? Oh, my friend, my dear friend, just a little joke. Sit down. Of course, I'd be delighted to. Whatever the rations. There will be rations, won't there? Do you have any on you now? That's it. Silas is the showman, but he's bankrupt, isn't he? He has no money, and he likes to elude grandeur, but he's in it for the money. I love this guy. Okay, so we've got our crew together. Let's go speak to the bishop again. He's in the Nobbled Spire. Have I done all of these? I feel like I have done all of these. Let me just double check. Okay, now there are some new things here. Do you know anything about a woman in a yellow dress? Ah, yes. My family has shown an interest. I was afraid of this. I have cut my ties with them. They will work hard to spite me. Especially my sister. Wait, does his kind have families? I mean, besides cousins, you mean? I'm not going to discuss with you the convolutions of our kind's genesis. It is a private matter, and besides, it might very well make you ill. But yes, we have close relations. I have a sister, in fact. I'll be candid. She also has an interest in the matter of the prison and its essences. This may cause you inconvenience. Beware women in yellow. Generally, beware women in yellow. It is not a colour, I trust, but in particular be aware that my sister favours that colour. If she knows you have accepted my commission, she will probably devour your aunt or otherwise make a nuisance of herself. You can have my aunt. She's a pain in the butt. And I'm pretty sure I have done all of the other ones here. Okay, I understand. Okay, I think it's time for us to make final preparations for the expedition. The city of Caution, you say? Yeah, I had feared as much. It won't be easy to reach Caution. It's in the Presbyterate, and foreigners do not enter the Presbyterate. But you're resourceful. I'm sure you'll manage it regardless. And once you reach Caution, I have a potent passphrase you can use. Or I did. My sister sent me a message this morning. She purloined my word of caution from my study. I had been wondering why. She wants to meet me at the light factory to negotiate its return. I'd like you to go in my place. I thought we were trying to avoid her knowing that I was in your employ. Pay what she asks, I will reimburse you. If you can retrieve it, at no cost, so much the better. Ideally, I would rather not see my sister hurt, but she probably deserves it. Okay, well, I'll try and avoid confrontation if possible. There's no need for unpleasantness. I appreciate the consideration. I'm not overly fond of my sister, but I never enjoy unnecessary bloodshed. Or necessary bloodshed, come to that. She will ask a high price, but I am prepared to pay it. It will teach me to be more careful. The light factory in Watchmakers Hill is London's most eccentric candle works. At midnight, it will be empty. Go to Watchmakers Hill. It is over here, Watchmakers Hill. Uh-oh. It should be dark, this crenellated heap of crumblingly graceful brick. But the windows glow ominously. You quicken your pace as the glow brightens. Fire rages in the vat room. One wax vat has already ignited. You advance cautiously, and in a shower of glass, a flailing female form crashes through a skylight, falling screaming into the blazing vat. I hope that isn't the lady we're looking for. What was she doing on a skylight? So we can either rush to investigate. In the glimpse you had, the falling woman looked to be wearing yellow. The bishop's sister? Go closer. Or we can retreat. The bishop can't compensate you for incineration. Leave. We're going to rush to investigate. A second crash of skylight glass. This time, the falling shape is much bigger, but it lands on the factory floor with the grace of a cushioned jaguar. It's the house officer of the Dish and Spoon, the imperturbable patroness. Another vat of wax roars into a pale flame behind her, but her face is expressionless. In her left hand, she holds a tablet of dark wood. In her right hand, a knife, its edge winking bright. Behind her, in the burning vat, the bishop's sister writhes in an ecstasy of dissolution. Her screams are not human, nor are they screams of pain. Exactly. But very soon the heat of the wax will part the flesh from her bones. Ah yes, the cousins like wax, do they not? Sparks whirl in the patroness's dark eyes. "Give me the napt," she instructs you. Her voice is improbably calm, but it carries above the roar of the flames and the sisters' screams. "I'll give you your word." Okay, so we can flee with the napt. It's valuable, it might yet be essential, and if the Order Vespertine is cross with you, perhaps you shouldn't surrender such a notable weapon to such a notable enemy. Or we can surrender the napt for the word of caution. That dark wood tablet she holds, it must be the word of caution. The bishop's sister must have tried to keep it from her. Or we can surrender the napt for the life of the woman in yellow. What is she to you? To the bishop? Not so much, perhaps, but perhaps you can't let her die. Or we can assault the patroness. If you can't go round, you must go through. I'm gonna try and assault this lady. She's going to kill me, I can feel it. Let's dance. Too little time. She's good. She's very good. Given another 15 minutes, you might wear her down, but the heat is beginning to crisp your hair. You don't have another 15 minutes. So I succeeded, but it still increased my bruises. Scratches and bruises, my wounds. But I did gain a 10 of terror. Okay, so we have to make a choice. We can't fight our way out of this one. I can't let someone die. Even if it's a cousin or a snuffer or whatever they're called, I can't just let them die. I feel like if I lose the napt, I'm gonna regret it. If I don't have the word of caution, it's gonna be hard. But I can't let someone die, so we're gonna surrender the napt for the life of the woman in yellow. Her eyes widen in surprise, very slightly, and she steps aside as you drop the napt to the floor. You sprint to the blazing vat and haul the bishop's sister from the blazing wax. Her face is askew, her dress scorched to umber, her skin terribly burnt. "My brother," she moans. Her eyes roll back in her head. It is difficult not to retch at the tallowy stench of her. All the way back from the hill, you struggle under the weight of her. So yeah, we have one seared snuffer. The bishop's sister. Someday her burns will heal. Until then, she has no voice, or chooses not to speak. So we lost the napt, and I gained a magnanimous, and I'm no longer ruthless. So we need to return to the House of Chimes to complete part 1 of Flint. to the House of Chimes. All the way over here. It's Big Ben. Do we talk to the bishop? I assume so. The Knobbled Spire? Here we go. So we are returning with the bishop's sister. The bishop's eyes fix on your companion. His face is as immobile as glass. The bishop whispers to your seared companion. Her eyes move in her face, but she does not reply. He whispers again. She sags abruptly, like an unstringed marionette. I don't know, he says to you, whether I am grateful. I might have cause to regret what you have done, and so I have a favour to ask. Take her with you. She can't be here. She couldn't be here. Even were she and I friends, she might find healing in the south, or at least a good end. Take this. A diamond? The bishop nods. A nail clipping from the mountain, he says. It might help. It probably won't. But if it doesn't, at least it will buy you a ticket home. We've reached the end of part 1 of Flint. Part 2 begins here. Okay, so talking to the bishop again, we got the option to begin the expedition to Wolfstack. Part 2 of Flint begins here, because Flint is a 2-part story, which probably worked out. I said it in the first episode, I believe. Far horizons. Breakfast with the bishop and travel to Apis Meet to continue. You can take passage on a steamer or travel on your own ship if you have one. Time to have breakfast with the bishop. Bacon and bread and butter? Ooh, let's go. You meet him in a smoky eating house that overlooks the quayside. The bishop doesn't eat, but he warms his hands on a glass of black tea. If I break this glass, he asks suddenly, does it change? Does it become something else? Ooh. Yes, it is altered forever. No, a thing that is broken remains what it was. A glass is not a person. What is he looking for? Revelation? Redemption? Or he'd get tea all over the tablecloth. A practical response. I think I'm going to go with a glass is not a person, because he is looking for a revelation, isn't he? But no would probably be what I'd say. An excellent point. Although some would say that I am not a person either, but neither flint nor glass lives, at least this side of the sea. Goodbye then, and good luck. I will not say Godspeed. I will say, watch out for bloat fingers. So to continue, take a steamer to the Elder Continent, or use your own ship if you own one. Before embarking on the Elder Continent, we recommend your watchful, shadowy, and persuasive be of at least 25 each. I think I'm okay. How would I use my own ship? I guess I would put to Z. I feel like I want to use the steamer though. I do have my own ship, I have a clipper. But I don't know, I feel like there might be conversations with people on the steamer and stuff. Let's just buy a ticket to Apis Meet. It takes some effort to find a steamer that will dare voyage to Apis Meet at the mouth of Adam's Way. Oh, is that where we're going? Adam's Way. Makes sense, I guess. The captain puffs up her chest and winds up to a long and satisfying haggle. Use this to begin your voyage. The bishop's sponsorship. You hand the captain an envelope with the bishop's seal, and she deflates visibly. She perks up when she opens it and sees the sum on the promissory note inside. You'll have my own cabin, she promises. You regard the thick grime on her hands and face. I won't be in it, obviously, she adds. An hour later, you're on deck, watching the spires of the bazaar dwindle astern. The black silence of the sea settles about you. Oh, we can wave our handkerchief from the ship's rail. To reach your destination, raise approaching journey's end to 10. You don't need to choose your destination until then. So this is the same as if I actually had a boat. But I'm hoping there's going to be some other things here. A chance encounter, the ship's rail. The undersea can be a lonely place. Sure, why not? The deck is crowded, but there is someone here on the steamer that catches your eye. So we have an intemperate archaeologist. Polythreme's vital charms have drawn her to this steamer. But what eyes she has behind those steel-framed spectacles? Or the decorous baronet. What distressing circumstance forced the man, noble of birth and appearance, to this tramp steamer? I'm going to go for the archaeologist, I feel. The intemperate archaeologist notes your glances and strides over to you. Sea travel is such a waste of a month, but there's no avoiding it in my field. So what do you do? Perhaps we can have a drink after dinner and talk about it. Shockingly forward for a young lady, but still. No. Heading out, the steamer is crowded and your cabin is more of a shelf in the hold. You're going to be at sea for some time. How will you stay occupied? Ooh, as a special Flinty exceptional friendship courtesy, the first time you travel to Apis Meat, you'll be able to do so very quickly. On subsequent occasions, the journey will take much, much more time. I feel like I'm going to do this. I don't know, will I miss something? Is there going to be hidden interactions here on this voyage? Okay, well, let's go with a smooth voyage. We're going to do this and hope that I don't miss anything. Or, hang on, let's do one of these, see what happens, see if anything changes. You're going to be with these people for some time, you may as well get to know them. Gone to 4. Got to get to 10, right? Yeah, it's just the same thing over and over and over again. Okay, let's just go with the smooth voyage. There at last, the journey is over. A safe harbour awaits. And at last, you can get off this cramped, smoky steamer. Let's go to Apis Meat. A shouting, feasting, thieving riot of a port at the entrance to the Red Route into the heart of the South. Now, I believe Flint unlocks this place as a place you can actually go after you finish the story, but you have to have played the story first, which I thought was kind of cool. You must tell them one of 3 stories. The lights of Apis Meat glimmer across the sea. The gracious, the Presbyterate's Coast Guard steam out to meet your ship. The price of entry is a story. Wow, this really is Adam's Way. I've done all of this in Sunless Seas. And I'm going to apologise for saying Presbyterate. Wrong every time. My brain reads it wrong. I've been told I say it wrong multiple times. It just happens. I try. I'm going to apologise. I'm probably going to say Presbyterate about 100 times, but I know it's the Presbyterate, but I don't know. It just doesn't sound right in my ears. So we can say a story of the surface, something they've never seen. A story of delicious intrigue, something to get their teeth into. Or a personal confession, something about your past. I think we're going to go with the story of the surface because I have 47 visions of the surface and only 14 incendiary gossip, so let's go with a story from the surface. An engaging fable, one says courteously. It is charming that your people still believe in the surface. I suppose in your primitive state, you need suitable myths to cheer you up. Oh my. Uh-oh. What is this? The gracious, all shall be well. The gracious have one more question. Shall all be well? So my answer to this will determine the stakes later in the story. Yes, this is the story as you would normally experience it. Or sometimes this will expose you to more permanent negative consequences for that thrill of risk and potential failure. But I do think we've come to the end of this episode, so what I'm going to do here now is I'm going to ask you guys, which one do you think I should pick here? Yes or sometimes? Let me know down in the comments, and then in the next episode I'll click it and we'll see what happens. But thank you very much for watching. Please like and subscribe. Let me know what you think. Your comments are greatly appreciated. And as always, see you next time.